taking something off another big guy. So, but yeah, just live your life and try to worry less, the least you can, and somehow things are gonna be okay. Things are gonna be just okay. We have a million topics to discuss. Like, I think half of them, 500,000 are good, 500,000 are bad. Like, if we measure it in that way, 500,000 make us feel good, 500,000 of the topics make us feel bad. Since we cannot do nothing much about them, but only talk, or right at this moment we cannot do much about them, we can just maybe discuss the nicer topics that kind of charge us and make us feel more connected to the world, and make us believe that the world is not as bad as we think sometimes. It helps me. I gotta say, it helps me. I know they're super bad topics, and I know they don't help me. I know that I feel like shit after discussing them, and I know I feel worthless, and I feel powerless. Maybe that's the word. I don't feel worthless. I feel powerless, and it produces anxiety and anger and fear. But maybe just not do that to yourself. Yes, those things, but SANSEN, just because you don't talk about it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Yes, I'm aware of that, but why would I discuss it? Right? Why would I do this to myself? I just wanna feel better. I'm trying to help myself, and by helping myself, if it means not discussing some topics that make me pissed off, well, I'm choosing not to discuss topics that make me pissed off. I think it's much more easy to stop thinking about things that you cannot, or that you can change very little, than to kind of bang your head constantly into a wall by talking about things that you cannot change but piss you off. I hope you get it, guys. It's not like that I want to do this in front of everything. It's just like, okay, I'm aware it exists. Sometimes there is a time and place to discuss it, of course, but I'm just thinking it's Sunday evening. I just want to get ready for the week. I still have a few hours off before I go to bed. I want to make myself a tea, watch a good movie, talk to my whoever, watch some stream. I only operate as a soldier in a battle, 20 meters around me. I can only affect the people directly around me. I do my best to do the right thing, my responsibility. Larry, exactly. I gotta agree, Larry. It's kind of, I am aware, like, if I talk to the person next to me, who can I affect on? Also, you cannot directly affect on people next to you. You can kind of talk with them, and you can maybe influence them. Like, it's really hard. It's their decision. Whatever they're going to decide, it's still their decision. You can talk to them, but you can only hope that they heard something. Everything after that is something you cannot affect on. Like, how many times you've seen two closest people fighting and they don't understand each other? They can affect directly on one another, but they still hold their ground, and they're not understanding the second person. It happens a lot. So you can just only say, maybe if you're asked, your point of view, and maybe that person, if they understand. A lot of times people understand, but still they don't do something. Like, there's a person who says, "Oh, I'm overweight. I need to lose some weight. What are the best ways to lose weight? What do you think?" And then you say them, and everything besides that is an expectation. Like, if you expect that person from tomorrow to start the same diet, you're like, that's an expectation already. But you just tell something, and if that person just maybe catches that and starts implementing that in your life, that's great. But if they don't, it's also, I remember I used to be in a lot of relationships in life where I would give a lot of me, but I didn't realize that I would also expect a lot back. So I would have a friend who was constantly saying that she has a bad relationship, she has to get out of that relationship, and I would be there for her, and I would say, right, from what you are saying to me, it seems like a really bad relationship. It seems like you really have to quit it, and like you have 1 talk, 2 talks, 3 talks in a period of 2, 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter how many years. And it just kind of like, and I would also get pissed. Like, she comes after 2 years and she's like, again with the same story, right? So I would be like, yeah, but and I used to get into conflicts as well. But now it's just like, all right, I told you my opinion. You asked for my opinion. I told you my opinion. But everything besides that is just like, I won't allow it to affect me. And if actually there is a person who keeps on coming back with the very same story, I'm really, really simple about that. I'm like, we already discussed it. Please, let's change the topic. I just very like with the open heart. I don't think I'm a less of a friend than I was before. I'm just protecting myself from getting involved again and getting all like, oh yeah, you should completely get out of their relationship. And you're like, I just know, okay, she needs to talk about it, but she's gonna have to find another person to talk about it. I'm not a less of a friend. It's just that I don't want to hear the same story for 20th time. Or it's the same thing if somebody has a shitty job. Like, don't talk about your shitty job, man, for 2 years or 4 years or 15 years. There's a lot of people in Croatia who are afraid to leave their job because, oh my God, it's very shitty, but I won't find a better one. I mean, if you think like that in your life, that you won't find it, that you don't deserve something better and that you won't find something better, well, then you kind of deserve this and just, shut up and continue working, So it's kind of, I sympathize a lot, I sympathize. If you will never hear me anymore talking directly so much like, stop talking about it. I would leave them to talk, but I would just kind of silently shut down. And I would just like try to focus on myself, that it doesn't touch me, okay? She's a very dear person of mine, or he's a very dear person of mine. I have a friend. He's constantly without money. He's constantly going from the bad job to the worst one. And he just doesn't want to change anything. Like when you have to try. The world doesn't owe you anything. You're not just gonna wake up and suddenly there's gonna be like a super best ever offer in your life for a job. Like people piss blood. People literally piss blood for some changes in their lives. For anything. You want a better relationship, you want a better job, you want a better anything really. You want to move somewhere? Oh, I hate the bad weather. Oh my God, buy one-way ticket to Hawaii. Buy. How are you saying this so many times? Like, just start loving the rain or move the hell out, It's simple. But we complicate it so much. And the more we talk, the more we complicate. Every additional word, we complicate a little bit more. And like after 5 years, your life situation seems so complicated. Like even Facebook has its complicated status, because it went so far. No, it's not complicated. We made it. It's very simple. Do you want it? Yes, no. Yes, no. It's A or B. 1, 0 or 1. 0 or 1. 0 or 1. And you did 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0. And so you're here. Well, if you want to get away from here, you gotta maybe even undo some stuff or just, find another pet. But people just stay there and they expect for everything to change. Like, I want the change in the world. Great. Do you want to change? What do you mean? I'm okay. I'm gonna start changing. If I see changes, I'm gonna start changing. Bravo, bravo, bravo. I've never heard that in my life before. Never. You have 95% of the population in the world saying they will start changing when they see the change. So those 95% are waiting for a change to happen, and everybody's waiting just for somebody to start changing, right? It's hilarious. It's hilarious. So I've seen on our example, we spoke to some of our friends. Us two little humans. We're just two little regular humans. We managed to change so many life paths. I think we spoke with like at least 10 to 20 people or even more. I'm talking about real life friends and real life acquaintances who were either inspired by us being brave to quit our jobs and start to do something that we love, or and if our courage, just a little courage, if that would started off some chain reaction in some other people, imagine if there would be 10,000 Sandas and Evas, 20,000, 2 million, 5 million, or 95% of the population. Everyone would do just a tiny little bit. Imagine if everybody does just a tiny little bit. The world will be completely another place. That's it. It's
started to change.
Yeah, I mean, it just, but it's that psychology of, I'm so special, so I'm going to wait for him to change first. It's the same in fighting. People like you literally, like in 90 something % of the fights, you hear one side saying, or both sides saying, I'm going to say I'm sorry after he says I'm sorry. How many times you heard that? I think everyone here, even the youngest ones, they heard it in their school from someone. I'm going to apologize if he apologizes first. Like, why does it matter who apologizes first? Like, what the fuck? Be the first one. Be the first one and then see what happens. If he doesn't apologize, yeah, what will happen? Yeah, you're gonna get hurt because I apologized and he didn't. So yeah. It's a little talk about life and changes, and it's super easy. It's just people are lazy and not willing, in general, not willing to change anything, but they like to talk. Oh, yes. When it comes to let's sit on a coffee and let's be sad about, let's talk about whose life is more bad. It all started when I was 4. Yeah, we all have like, what do you think? That we were born in the most super awesome, positive something in the world. Like, we lived through war. We lived through so many shit going on, and yes, and there's still people who had way worse childhood and whatnot. And also, I would say there's a lot of people who had way better childhood and everything than us. So, it's pointless to talk about what's bad in your life. It's just pointless. Clip this. All right. Yeah. The courage to change the things